Hello and welcome back to another video on the SOAutomotive YouTube channel. My name is Sven and you're joining right now here in the beautiful German countryside with this. This is a toy for the day. This is the 2005 VW Golf Mark V 1.4 liter with 75 horsepower. One very important thing to note is actually this is not any VW Golf Mark V. This is actually my VW Golf Mark V. That's why I'm actually showing the number plate, because I don't really care. And yeah, another thing is actually I want to do this review as objective as possible, because you know I've done already so much stuff and so many road trips with this car. That's why I probably have a a strong connection to the VW Golf Mark V platform. However, I still want to do the review very objective and yeah, very neutral. As you can see, this car sits in those very plain and I would say normal stock 15-inch silver wheels. Yes, they are a bit dirty because it's actually my only car and my daily driver. That's why, yeah, they are a bit dirty. And you can see this car has also this very plain and I would say iconic VW gray paint coat. Now, as you can see from the side, this car is actually a 3-door configuration, not a 5-door configuration, which is frustrating sometimes. But overall, it's actually, I think it gives it quite a smooth look. You know, obviously 3-door because of 2 doors on either side and the trunk door. And yeah, I think overall it actually looks quite plain. Obviously, some people might say boring, but I actually think it looks actually quite good under the radar. Now, the VW Golf Mark V is in the bundle of the the various VW Golf configurations and models over the years, the most controversial one, because the looks actually changed quite a lot from the Mark IV VW Golf to the Mark V VW Golf. You know, the Mark IV was more boxy-ish and this is obviously more rounded, which was at the time and still is very controversial. Another controversial thing is also this, the headlights, because a lot of people think they look very ugly. I kinda agree, but then I think, you know, VW actually tried something new with the design. That's why I think they actually look, for its time, you know, kind of period correct. When I would have worked at VW at the time, would I have changed the design of the taillights? Probably yes. I am very honest here. The VW Golf Mark V is 4.2 meters long and I think 1.8 meters wide, which is, you know, kind of, it's bigger than a smart car or a mini, but it's, I think, you know, still it has a good size. For me at least. I know you know, a lot of people think otherwise, but I actually think it is quite good compact, and you can actually fit quite a lot of stuff with it. Therefore, you can actually do a lot of road trips with it. You can open up the trunk of the VW Golf V when you put the VW Golf logo in right here. And excuse me, there's quite, you know, a little bit of stuff. It's not very organized in here, but because it's also a lot of stuff for upcoming tours. And yeah, this is the trunk. You can actually fit quite a lot of stuff, you know, in it. You can here push here this forwards and more stuff. I actually moved flats with it already, and you can actually fit quite a lot of stuff in here. You know, I fitted various cupboards in there, and you know, parts of beds and everything else, a mattress. So you can fit quite a lot of stuff in here, which is in my opinion actually quite good. For many people it might be a little bit too small, but it works for me actually. Now, the VW Golf V sits on those all-season tires, which actually work quite well, but these are, as you can probably see already, a little bit worn down, which comes to all the kilometers that I've already driven with this car. And they probably need changing at some point, but I would recommend always all-terrain tires on city cars, you know, like a Mini, you know, cars that you use daily, because then you don't have the hassle of changing the tires every season or in every season change, you know, from winter to summer. That's why, yeah, I would also recommend all-season tires. Right, I am now in the VW Golf Mark V, and as you can see, this interior is quite, I would say, practical. I would even say minimalistic, but also period correct. You know, the only thing I changed was this one, because when I got this car, this thing was a little bit worn out. And yeah, you know, this is a light switch. You have here the steering wheel, the instrument cluster, which is very, very analog. You have here the radio, climate control, obviously, which is very nice, heated seating, and you know, all the controls for the windows, automatic climate control, the 5-speed manual, which works in conjunction with those 3 pedals down there, which is really, really nice. You have here the normal handbrake, and you know, here you have the lights for passenger side. You have right here, oh, Nürburgring. You have here, you know, the sunboard, and it is overall, yes, I agree, it is quite boring in here, just because this car is not modified at all, and that's why it is very, you know, it's gray on black basically, so it's not a very out there color combination. But yeah, as you can see here right in the back, this is from the back, which, you know, I would say yes, boring, but also in the same time very, very clean. Also here the hazard, and yeah, overall, I mean, yes, it's not the newest interior anymore, because as I already said, this car is 20 years old. Obviously this car has those cloth seats, which is, I think, the most basic configuration you can have. And yes, they are a bit worn out, because as I said, this is my daily driver, but you know, they are actually quite comfortable, and many people don't think this, but I actually think it is actually quite comfortable driving with these. Now, as I already said, this VW Golf Mark V is a 3-door configuration, which I also said that is also sometimes a hassle and a little bit of a headache. But you know, I am 1.87 m tall, which is like 6 feet. This car has easy entry, so you can slide the seat forward with one push, and then you can go here. And I actually, you know, let's push this back. I have a lot of room in here, and yeah, as I said, I am 1.87 m. I have a lot of headroom, actually, you know, about a fist width. And yeah, it actually is quite comfortable in here. You can open the engine or the bonnet when you pull the lever right down here, which releases a catch up front, where you then pull a lever right here, where you can then see the 1.4 liter 75 horsepower naturally aspirated 4-cylinder engine, which has a 0 to 60 in, I think, around 14 seconds. The top speed of this engine is 164 kilometers per hour, which I actually achieved, and I've done already very, very many videos of it, about it, at top speed on the German Autobahn. Because if you have the freedom to go right over there to the German Autobahn, you obviously have to do it. And yeah, this is a very understated engine. I mean, I make no secret about it, this engine is very, very slow. You know, overall, this car weighs like, I think, 1.5 tons, which is not much, but this engine has also very little power. And speaking of power, I think we have to go and drive. Right, let's start this beast up and let's go for a little drive. Yes, obviously it's not very loud. And I have to say, you know, one thing, these heated seats are very, very nice when it comes to, you know, the shitty weather we always have here in the north of Germany. But yeah, I mean, what can I say? The car is not very fast, obviously only 75 horsepower, which you can see. It doesn't sit that great in the corners, but again, it's not very, you know, built for track driving. or faster driving or spirited driving. But yeah, overall, I mean, I think it's actually a very, very nice first car, you know, for a learner. I would always buy one again. I don't want to sell this car because I've already done so much with it, but that's not really the case of this video. This is just a plain review of the car. You can also hear the 4-cylinder is naturally aspirated, so the, you know, so there no, you have basically no boost, no power for the entirety of the rev range. And yeah, I mean, a lot of people always complained about the unreliability of those cars, but I actually have to disagree with them yet, or still, because this car has now 204,558 kilometers on the clock, and I had no real problems with it yet, but this can change, I admit that. To date I had at least no problems, and yeah, driving wise, you actually sit quite comfortable in those seats. And yeah, I mean, as I already said, this is a car for beginners, for learners, for people who just want to drive a comfortable car, for people who actually want to drive not so much with the car. I think this VW Golf Mark 5 is actually perfect. Now, I personally actually like doing road trips with this car, but I know a lot of people actually disagree with my point here. That's why I actually think, you know, it's 50-50. If you can commit to do a road trip with this car, do it, because as I already said, this is actually a great road trip car. I've done already quite many road trips around Europe with it. And yeah, obviously this car has electrical mirrors. That's also very nice. You can see quite a lot out of the car because, you know, big windows, no real blind spots, only like very few behind the C pillar, but nothing more. And yeah, this is actually really quite comfortable. I mean, you know, I'm now in the 5th gear. I have to say the gearbox of this car is very beautiful, very engaging, and even though this car only has 75 horsepower, driving wise it is actually, you know, engagement wise it's actually quite good. Would I take it on the track for a track day? Definitely not. However, I've already driven it multiple times around the Nürburgring, Nordschleife, and it actually performed quite flawless there. It overheated after like 2 or 3 laps a bit. I mean, you could feel the brakes and everything else, but other than that, it was actually quite good. And remember, this car is not a track car, so it obviously doesn't need to have, you know, track performance. But yeah, what I have to say, I mean, this car is, for a city car, really, really nice. I would recommend it, you know, as a first car, yes. I can also relate to people who say that this car is not very good, because it does have a few flaws, not only because it is very slow, that's sometimes not really a bad thing, but it is sometimes too slow, in the sense of that when you want to overtake a tractor or a lorry or I don't know what, it is too slow. It does deliver the power, the horsepower, too slow, which can, you know, before you overtake someone and it gets dangerous quite fast, you know, might as well don't overtake anyone, because then it's actually not that dangerous. That's why I don't really, you know, overtake cars on countryside roads just like this one, because it can be quite dangerous, especially when you think about it. This car only has this little power. However, it actually drives still quite good. It's actually not that loud. I mean, you know what? I'm driving now like 90 kilometers per hour, 95. Now I'm driving 100 kilometers per hour. It is actually not. It is actually not that bad. Obviously, you have here in the middle, in the infotainment, digital display. You know, you can switch through the estimated leftover range. You can see the total of kilometers. You can have a trip which you can reset. You can have the average fuel consumption which is right now 7.5 liter per 100 kilometers. You can see the degrees, or you can see the current fuel consumption, which is, you know, when I give it a little bit of gas, you can see now 11.5 liters per 100 kilometers. And you can see the total drive time. And you can also have you also have a cruise control system, which works actually really nice. I mean, it is very simple. It's obviously no automatic cruise control, but it works quite good. The brakes actually worked quite okay, I have to say. Yeah. Oh, there's traffic. The brakes works actually quite okay. I mean, the car is laid out to be a city car, not really a track car. So this is, you know, I have to say, quite a stretch for the car. Yet it's still, you know, the brakes work actually quite fine. And now you can see it. I mean, I just pulled on this road, and now I am at 100 kilometers per hour, but there's another 70 zone, which is, you know, it is what it is. And yeah, fuel consumption wise, the car makes around, you know, with my driving, I can drive around like 650 to 700 kilometers on one tank, which is not bad. The car has a 50 liter tank, and yeah, it actually works quite good. Alright, I hope you liked this video. I try to make this review as objective as possible, so no, you know, I also try to have my impressions of the car in my video, but I tried not to be very emotional about the car, in the sense that it's my first car, because it is actually my first car. Which was quite hard, but I think I managed it quite well. This was the review of the VW Golf Mark V 1.4 liter with 75 horsepower, and I hope I see you in the next one. Alright, peace!